Yeah, man. First off, me being back home was the main thing for me, and then meeting the coaching staff. I think Coach Foss, just what he has building, I think is very something very special, and I wanted to be a part of that, man. And I'm glad to be here and glad to be a part of that. Yeah, Coach Foss is a great player coach, man. He relates to us, and you need that in the locker room from a head coach like that. He played the position, played running back, at the highest level. And I think, as a player coach, it just makes the guys 10 times more comfortable with him. Biggest lesson I learned in my whole college career. Are you talking about from games or just in general? Yeah, man. I think just to keep my head down and be humble, man. I think you know don't let the outside noise affect me or what I got going on. And yeah, man, focus on me and who I love. Yeah, it's been great, man. It's crazy to see the journey that a lot of us have been on. Just growing up as kids and going through high school together, playing with them in 7-on-7 tournaments, and then to see where we're at now. A lot of us made it out, so I'm very excited to play with them again and put on that UCLA uniform.
There was so much speculation, after you left Tennessee about that whole situation. What was that like for you with all the rumors flying around and, you didn't come out publicly? I mean, can you walk us through that week and, then when you decided to come to UCLA? What was that like for you behind the scenes?
Yeah, for me it was a lot. It was a tough situation to be in. At the end of the day, I did what was best for me, and that was getting back, home to my family and closer to my family while still competing at the highest level. And yeah, man, it was a crazy week, but yeah, man, I'm only focused on my future now, and I'm excited to be a part of UCLA. Yeah, I think that just starts from within, man. I got a great support system with my family. My parents do a great job at supporting me, and yeah, man, I think that just the whole football team and the whole coaching staff have done a great job just welcoming me and making me feel comfortable to be a part of UCLA. And yeah, man, I can't wait for the season, man. It's almost around the corner, and yeah, man. So how do you build? Yeah, I think just strengthening our relationships. Off the field, on the field. I think just doing more stuff with them. That you wouldn't normally do with teammates. I think taking them boys out to eat. Taking them boys to go bowl, anything like that. Just to strengthen our bond. And we got fall camp coming around the corner, so it'll be good. For a lot of guys that that we don't know each other well, for us to bond well in the hotel. And yeah, man, get ready for the season. Yeah, UNLV, man, that'll be another good test for us. I've never played in Las Vegas, so it'll be a cool experience for me. And yeah, man, I can't wait. I think every game on the schedule is a big one for us, and we're excited to go prove ourselves. Yeah, I think last year, what I took from the game is, not to let anything that happens in the game, sway how we're thinking about the game. I think we let that first half affect our team and how we performed in the second half. Um, but yeah, I think just keeping our composure and going into big games like that and responding well it was the main thing I took from that. Going into the game, man, I mean, I'm excited to catch those boys again, man. It'll be a big test for me. I know they want to, beat me pretty bad again, like they did the first time. So, I'm gonna try and hold my own, man. I'm excited, with the guys I'm gonna go to war with, and yeah, man, we're building something special. Yeah, it was like they said it was like 11 degrees, felt like 4, man, and it was pretty cold, man. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't feel my hands on in pregame warm up. Like it was hard to warm up, but once I got the adrenaline flowing, I thought, I did a good job at, just getting acclimated with the game. Yeah, yeah, man. I took some shots, man. I cracked two helmets in the game. Two of the, my Vices helmets, and I had to switch to my third one, and it was a hard, tough game, man. I think the weather played a lot of effect in that, just it being so cold, and yeah, man, it was a fun game though. Man, I've always watched Big Ten football, and I've always thought, that they've had the best players in the country playing the Big Ten and the SEC. So, it wasn't really, what it told me about the Big Ten. I knew we were going against a tough opponent, and that, we didn't show up how we should have. So, I took that L to the chin, and I'm excited for this year. Yeah, it's two great conferences that have their own traditions. I'd say the SEC got some crazy fans in the SEC. They really bring it every game. So you really feel the environment in away games and in home games. So I think I'm not too familiar with the Big Ten and how the games are played, but this year I'm excited for that challenge, and I know they have a lot of great players in the league, and I'm excited to go compete against them. Yeah, really, there's no expectation. The expectation is for me to be better. I got to get better, and with Coach Tino, and we had a great offense at Tennessee. I think just the difference is with Tennessee being wide splits. I think Coach Tino brings a a more pro style, condensed splits offense. That I'm comfortable with, and yeah, man, I'm excited to play for Coach Tino. Say it again. My first impressions of Coach Tino were, he's a high energy guy, man. He brings a lot of high energy, and man, I wanted to go play for him. The first day I met him, I felt that comfortable, and he just has that certain presence to him that makes you want to go play for him. Say that again. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Where you guys where that was from. I loved my O line last year. Had a great O line. Lance Hurd, Cooper Mays, John Campbell, Spraggins, and Andre. I loved all those guys, and they was a great O line. Yeah, man, I love the O line, man. They had my back since I got in day one, and just them being very accepting of me when I first got there and just welcoming me, I felt good with them. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Me and Garrett and the whole line, the whole QB room went out to go bowl and just had a good time. Ate some pizza, had a few lemonade, sprites, and we just had a good time. So my time to leave Tennessee was around the time that I think probably the reports came out. Just false reports that made me not feel comfortable in the position I was in. But in the back of my head, I always wanted to come back home and be closer to my mom, be closer to my dad, and just have my family, their support, at our games, and in our Samoan culture, I think we're always together, and I think that was the main thing for me, the driving factor for me to come back home. Say it again. Just false stuff about whether it was a financial thing or not. My driving factor to come back home was my family, and I hope every Tennessee fan understands that that it was really one of the hardest decisions that I ever had to make. But I had to do what was best for me and my family, and ultimately, I wanted to come back home and be closer to my family. Yeah, definitely, man. It's just a lot of drama. But man, I'm excited to be at UCLA. I think just the cerebral side of football, man. Quarterback is it's a tough position to play, and I think just me getting not the physical aspect down. I think I have that down. I think just the mental side of the game. You know, I'd say probably 90% of playing a position is really your brain. So I think Coach Tino has just taught me how to use it, and has put me in great positions to go out there and be successful. No, I don't. I don't think so. My mindset was going in to compete with whoever was in there for the starting spot, and I don't think my decision coming to UCLA altered his decision to go to Tennessee. But I wish him nothing but the best. I know he's gonna get the best fans over there. He's gonna have a great fan base, and hopefully he gets to experience all the positive things that I experienced there. Yeah, man. Toughness is it just comes with not wanting to quit, man. I think I always want to win. I hate losing. Losing is just kind of makes it's not in me. I don't know. I hate to lose. So I think when I'm trying to go out there and win a game, whether that's however many hits I take, I'm gonna do anything it takes to go out there and try and get a win. A great challenge, man. I think everybody in the locker room has a chip on their shoulder. And our coaches have a great expectation for us to meet, and yeah, man, we're gonna go out there and prove ourselves right, man. That we're gonna go out there and be a successful team and have a great year. Yeah, I would say the how much alumni come back to the school. I think I've seen a lot of guys work out, and just NFL pros in general. We got guys like DK Metcalf that works out there a lot. I see him every morning, and it just feels good to see a lot of pros around the building. I think Coach Foss has went through what I'm going through now, just being a college athlete and trying to make it to that next level. So, he knows all the ins and outs of what reporters write and how it can affect a player. So, I think he just his experience alone, just me taking that from him and handling situations well. Yeah. Yeah, man. This is a year where I'm really trying to get out after. So, I'm gonna give my all to UCLA, and if I have the year I want, I want to get out. Flag. You said flag football? I've played in a few 7-on-7 tournaments. I haven't played in that stadium yet. But I've played in Vegas in general, and yeah, man, it's been great. I hope to see UNLV. I get a good experience in that stadium. But yeah, man, I'm excited to play in the Raiders Stadium. It just comes from my parents, man. They raised me to who I am today. My mom played a big role into that, and obviously my dad. So just having two of my parents in my household, I was very blessed and fortunate to have, and yeah, they raised me to who I am today. Yeah, man. Like again, like I don't know where all that comes from. I'm hearing it, from you guys, just like you guys are hearing it. So, yeah, man. With all that situations, I kind of just focus on football and let my business side of the team handle those. Oh, no animosity, man. I knew Dan Lanning when he was recruiting me at Oregon. And I have nothing but respect for Coach Dan Lanning, and whatever he speaks on the situation, I really don't pay no mind to it. Yeah, man. I feel like I'm back in high school, man. Just with the concepts that we're running right now, and just me being more comfortable in this pro style offense. I'm not gonna say pro style. I'm gonna say everything offense, because Coach Tino brings a lot to the table. So yeah, man. I think it just fits my game and everything I have going on. It's been great, man. Just learning everybody, man. A lot of new guys I've met. And yeah, man, I've been continuing to lead on the vets. To help me be comfortable with all the other guys. So it's been a great experience, man. Like I said, fall camp will be another a great way for us to bond and strengthen our relationships. Yeah, NIL, man. Like I said, I don't really focus on NIL. I focus on ball and school. I let my parents and my business side of the team handle that. But yeah, man, I think for guys just going in the transfer portal, I hope they find the right place for them and the right fit for them. Yeah, all the receiver room, man. We've been getting a lot of work in. So the whole receiver room, man. I think a lot of sparks in there that we're excited to see this fall camp. But yeah, man, there's definitely a couple guys that are out there that I'm excited to work with. Uh, no, I'm never on social media like that, anyways. I'm a big YouTube guy, so YouTube and yeah, man, I've never really been on social media like that, anyway. So it wasn't hard for me to tune stuff out. Yeah, man, my dad, man. My dad has a lot to do with that. My mom too. I think I got both of their personalities, kind of like 50-50. So, and then just with mentors, man, the guys that play the position. I think my whole 3D QB family. Guys like my guy Taylor Kelly. He trains a lot of the top guys in the league. So just him being a mentor for me. And then Jaden Daniels has been another one that I've looked up to since a young pup. I've trained with him for a while now. And guys like Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, those three are the main guys. I haven't got a chance to be around Tua, but I love to get around Tua too. Pick his brain too.
Allegations and all these things come out, and you get overwhelming. What do you do to like help terrorize your minds? Like, is it a hobby? Is it tough to solve?
Yeah, really, I was playing a lot of video games, man. I was playing a lot of video games with my friends and my cousins, man, and you know, really paid no mind to it. I had no, sometimes I had no idea my cousins would come and tell me about stuff they seen. I was like, I don't care. Like, so I think a lot of that just comes with protecting your peace. I've been playing a lot of 2K, NBA 2K25, UFC. Got to get back on NCAA and Madden a little bit. I took a little break from that, but yeah, those are the main games. Marvel Rivals too.
Ryan Day said yesterday that he's talking about 7-on-7, how it's not even close to real football, and he wishes he could get his quarterbacks some more live bullets.
Yeah.
It seems like at the grassroots level, more emphasis on 7-on-7 as kids come up. How do you think that's affecting quarterback development?
I think it's great for young quarterbacks. Definitely, 7-on-7 is great for young quarterbacks to just develop how they read defenses in certain instances. And then when you get in the live ball, obviously you got the D line rushing you. I think it's just it's the same thing as you look at it during 7-on-7. You just got to calm your nerves when guys are trying to take your head off. So I think that's the only difference between 7-on-7 and 11-on. Yeah, man, it's been accelerated since I got there, man. I knew I was behind, and I knew I needed to get in that playbook and get with the guys and build rapport. So, yeah, man, we've been working this whole summer, and yeah, man, y'all see what we got first game. So
How's your relationship with your brother developed and maybe strengthened since him seeing you come here and then joining you to UCLA?
it's been big, man. My little brother was a bonus for me, for him to come home with me. Um, and just being a helping hand to him in anything he needs, I think was the biggest thing for me. I've always been there for my little brother, but when I went away for school, I think I took a. I'm not gonna say it took a toll on him, but probably on his development, just not having me there to help him out. He went through his junior senior year by himself, so. Um, but yeah, man, I'm excited, for the quarterback that he is today, and he's came a long way.
In what way does he learn from you? What does he tell you he's like taken from you?
Yeah, I think just him watching me, him watching and how I operate, I think has been his main thing. Just him, trying to simulate things I do sometimes, and I still take stuff from his game as well. I think we're two different quarterbacks as far as our gameplay. So I try and take little things from him, and I try and give as much as I can to him too. What do you mean by the big picture college football? Yeah. I don't pay any mind to that at all. No, I'm focused on football and getting my education and trying to get my degree. So that's been my main focus. Like I said, I let my business team handle any NIL stuff, and I go to work and try and compete on the field and in the classroom. Yeah, no, no, I love college football, man. Everything that goes on with my name, that's not going to change my love for the game. I love playing football at this level, and obviously everybody has to move on. So yeah, obviously I'm excited, for what is next for me. But I'm where my feet is, and right now I'm a UCLA football player, and I'm excited to go represent them.
So you mentioned that if everything goes according to plan, it could be 1 year at UCLA and then move on and chase the pro dream. Do you think that with all the headlines and stuff that did come out, will that influence what the NFL thinks of you or what teams think of you, whether that stuff is true or not?
Yeah, me personally, I don't know. I can only speak for my game and how I am off the field, how I am as a person. I know I'm a great person. I know what I bring to the table. And my thing is to go out there and perform on the football field is the main thing. So keeping the main thing is what it is for me.
Coach Mike Loxley was talking this week about he thought that he lost his locker room last year in part due to maybe some NIL jealousy and stuff like that. Just curious from a player's perspective, what have you seen or heard about how money and when guys make?
Yeah, from the locker rooms I've been a part of, everybody wants to see each other, win, and I have nothing, but respect for guys that are trying to go out there and get theirs. And, if they rightfully so deserve that, that's theirs. But, like I said, there hasn't been too many situations in the locker rooms I've been in, especially at UCLA, man. We're all about, ball and trying to go get wins this year.
You said the finances weren't at the heart of why you made this move. Can you talk about, your NIL package at UCLA, was it competitive compared to what you had at Tennessee? Did you have to take a big pay cut? How would you kind of compare those?
Yeah, like I said again, man, I don't really speak on NIL. That's for my business team and my agents to handle. And my main thing is focusing on football, man. I focus on football and what I got to do in the classroom.
Do you think all of this kind of politics and rumors behind your move is kind of overshadowing what you're trying to do on the field? And how do you kind of feel about that?
Maybe. That's for you guys to decide. Like I said, I don't really care, for what the outside world has to say. I know that I'm focused on my guys and my guys in the locker room and getting them prepared, for this run that we're gonna go on in this season.
You've seen what a college football playoff team looks like because you were part of one last year. You mentioned that coming to UCLA, you were part of what Deshaun Foster was building. From what you've seen, I know you haven't been out there with the guys yet, really, but do you think what's a realistic expectation for this team relative to what you know it takes to get to the playoffs?
Yeah. A realistic expectation for us is to bring championships back to Westwood. And first day I stepped in the locker room, I felt that from every guy in there, that they got a chip on their shoulder and that they want to go out there and prove people wrong. And my main message to them was to prove ourselves and our coach's goals right that we can accomplish this as long as we believe in one another. So.